Hello students, this sound is okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. This video will continue our discussion on pointer in C programming language. Now the next thing that we are going to discuss is how the pointer increments and what is the scale factor. Okay, so for that we'll understand one example, right? So here there are variables, integer kind of variables I and A, and there is a pointer variable P, right, in which we have stored the address of the variable A, right? So we can say that P is pointing to A, right? Now here the value is given A is equal to 7, right? So we have declared a variable, we have assigned the address of that variable to some pointer variable, and then we have assigned a particular value to this variable A. Okay, now in this first printf, we are going to print the value of address A using the address of operator and the variable P, right? P is ultimately pointing to A, so P is also containing the address of A, right? So when you are trying to print the address of A using these two methods, answer will be same because address of A is this 6356724 and that address we have stored in the P variable, pointer variable. So the contents of the pointer variables are also the same as P. Okay. Now the next printf, if we want to print the value of A, right? So there are two methods. If you're writing A, then also you can print the value of A variable, or if you write star P using this indirection or dereferencing operator, right? So it will print the value stored at the address in the P. So in the P there is 6356724. This is the address stored in the P variable, right? And at that location the value of A is stored, right? So when you try to print the value of variable A using the pointer variable using star P, the value of A will be printed 7. Okay. Now here in the next statements, we have taken one for loop, right, which executes from 1 to 3, means 3 times this loop will be executed. Okay. And here we have executed one statement that is P plus plus, means we are trying to increment the pointer by 1. Okay, now see, initially the value of P is this 6356724. Okay, now when we increment this P plus plus, it would not be 6356725. Remember this, right? Now we'll see that what is the value. If it is not incremented by 1 exactly, then what is the value after incrementing the P by 1? Okay, now here in the next printf after P plus plus, we have tried to print the address of A using this address of operator and then value of P. Okay, using the simple P pointer variable, right? Now you can see the output. Address of A is 6356724, same as this, right? Variable's address is same, but the value of P is now this 6356728. This is the new value of P. Okay, so we have incremented the P by 1 only, but after that increment, the new value of pointer variable is this. It is incremented by 4, right? Because in the system I'm executing this program on, in this system, the integer is taking 4 byte. Okay, so that's why the P is incremented by 4, right? Why it is incremented by 4 only? Because P is containing the address of some integer variable, right? And that's why pointer variable will incremented by the length of the data type that it points to. If the P is containing the address of some character variable, it will be incremented by 1 exactly. Okay, if it is pointing to some float variable, it will be incremented by 4, like this. Okay, so here P plus plus will cause the pointer P to point to the next value of its type. Means if it is an integer, it is pointing to the next integer. So obviously next integer will be after the 4 bytes, right? So when we increment a pointer, its value is increased by the length of the data type that it points to. And that length is considered as the scale factor. Okay, now we have seen that after P plus plus, the new value of this P is 6356728. Okay, now here in the next printf statement, the value stored at percentage u is percentage d. Means at the place of percentage u, we have to print the value of p, and at the place of percentage d, we have to print the value of star p. Means the value stored at this address. Okay, so we'll see the output. Value stored at this 6356728 is this. So this is any value. It has no relation with the A, because the address of A is still this 6356724, right? Now P plus plus, after P plus plus, the value is incremented of P, right? So now it is pointing to the location, right? And we don't know that which value is stored at that location. Okay, so when we are performing the first iteration, right? When we are performing the first iteration, this would be the output. Address of A would be same. New value of P will be by adding the 4 bytes, right? And the value stored at the new location will be anything, right? We cannot assume that what it can be, right? After that, in the second iteration, now in the second iteration, what is the output? P plus plus will be executed again. So now the new value of P is this 6356732 incremented by 4, right? But the address of A is same. So when we are writing star P, we cannot get the value of A because P is not pointing to A now. Okay, so here you can see that value stored at this new location is anything, right? And in the third iteration also, the pointer value will be incremented by 4, 6356736, right? Address of A will remain same, right? And the value stored at the new location would be any value. Okay, so this is how pointer increments. When you are writing P plus plus means you want to increment the pointer by 1, right? But it will always be incremented by the data type size that it points to. If it is pointing to integer, 1 P plus plus will make the pointer incremented by 4. Okay, if the P is pointing to character, it will be incremented by 1 like this. Okay. Now we'll see the another example. Here integer variable and integer pointer, and here in the pointer we are storing the address of the integer variable, right? So here you can see there are 5 variables of different types, right? I, F, C, L, I, and D, right? The data types are mentioned here: integer, float, character, long integer, and double. Okay, and the pointers are declared. IP is the pointer which is storing to the address of integer variable. FP will store the address of float variable, like this. Okay, and we have also given the value to the pointer variable, like I's address will be stored in IP, F address will be stored in FP, like this. Okay, so initialization has been done here. Now before increment, right, if we print the values of this pointer variables, right? So what it can be, you can see here the output, right? Before increment, if we if we print the values of the pointers, it would be like 6356728. This is the value of IP, FP, CP, right? So these are the values printed here. Okay, now we are incrementing each pointer variable by 1. Okay, we have written IP plus plus FP plus plus means we are just incrementing it by 1, right? So after 1 increment of the pointer variable, if we see the values of these variables, right? So you can just see here the value of the IP pointer is incremented by 4. The previous value was 6356728, and the next value after incrementing, its new value is 6356716. Okay, now FP is a pointer variable that is containing the address of the float. Okay, so initially it was 708, right, last 3 digits, and after 1 increment it is 712, so it is also incremented by 4. Now CP is a pointer variable that is containing the address of the character variable. Okay, so initially the value is 707, and after 1 increment it is 708. That means it is incremented by 1 because the size of the character is 1 byte. LIP is a long integer. Initially the value is 700, and after one increment it is 704. Okay, and DP is a double pointer, so initially it is 688 and after it is 696, so it is incremented by 8. So each pointer variable after one increment, it is incremented by the size of the data type that it points to. Okay. Okay, now next important point is pointer and arrays, right? We know that the array element, sorry, the array name is always containing the address of the first element, right? So array name itself is an address, right? So we will see that how we can use the arrays and pointers together, right? So when an array is declared, the compiler allocates a base address and a sufficient amount of storage to contain all the elements of the array in contiguous memory locations, right? Now, what is the base address? That is already discussed in the previous videos also, that base address is the location of the first element, right? Index 0 element. So if your array is like integer 810, right? This is the declaration of the array, right? So the array name always contains the address of first element A of 0. Okay. Now we'll understand this concept using one example, right? And here we have to assume that integer is taking 4 bytes. Okay. So now here we have declared one array A of 5 size and we have also given the values at the declaration time. So array is initialized. Okay, and then we have taken one pointer variable p, right? Now if I want to assign the address of this array to this pointer variable p, I need to write this statement, p is equal to a, right? Because a is containing the address of the first element, so that address will stored in the p variable pointer. Okay, now the same statement or the same task can be executed using this statement also, p is equal to address of a of 0, right? So you can write any of the statement to assign the address to the address of the array to the pointer variable. Okay, now we'll see that what are the outputs, right, for different printf statements. If you want to print the address of a of 0, right, and you are writing address of a of 0, so you can see here the output is 6356712. Okay, and if you want to print the value of a of 0 using p variable, pointer variable, right, so if you are printing p, value of p, then it would be same as the previous output, right? Because this p and address of a of 0 both are same because of this assignment. Okay, now if you want to store the if you want to print the value of a, right, so a is also containing the address of the first element, right? So the output of that is also same. Okay, so the first element's address of the array can be printed using the address of a of 0. You can use the pointer variable or you can use the array name also. But here important thing is what? Array name is a constant pointer to the first element of the array, right? So you cannot perform a plus plus or any other statement that may change the value of array name a, right? This is not possible. If you have written p is equal to a like this statement, right, then you can increment the pointer variable like p plus plus, right, because it is not a constant. But array name is a constant, right? It always stores the address of the first element only. Okay, now next to printf statements. Now if we want to execute the values of the uh, array elements using the pointer, right? So if we write star p, right, so p is containing the address of the first element of the array, right? So when you are writing star p, it will print the value of the first element 11. Okay, so we have accessed the first value of array element using the pointer variable, right? Same way, a is also containing the address of the first element. So when you are writing star a, you will get the same output, the first element of the array. Okay, and if you print, simply if you want to print the array element value, you can write like a of 0, right? So if you do this, right, then also the value is 11. Okay, see this percentage u is for the unsigned integer, so you can use the percentage t here, right? Now, when the element of the first, sorry, the address of the first element is this, right? So how the addresses are assigned to different elements of the array, right? So these are the element names a of 0, a1, a2 like this, right? And we had already discussed that p is also a variable, right? So here the memory location will be reserved to store the value of p also, okay? And these are the addresses of the different elements. Okay, so first element's address is this 712, right? So the next element's address would be 716, because here we have assumed that integer is taking 4 bytes. Okay, so this contiguous allocation will be done for all the array elements. Okay, and suppose the for the pointer variable p, this address is given 6356732. This is assumption. We have not printed the value of p, so we cannot be sure that which address will be allocated to p. Okay, but yes, the value of p would be this address of the first element of the array 6356712. Okay, so these are the addresses, these are the element names, and these are the values of the different variables. Okay, now another example here, right? Same array has been declared of y size, values are given, then a pointer variable is declared, and we have assigned the address of the first element to the p, right? And then we are printing the value of p and a of 0, right? So the p 6356712, because it is containing the address of the first element, and same way address of a of 0 is also giving you the same address. Okay, now we are incrementing the pointer variable p plus plus. Okay, so we had already discussed in the previous slides that p or pointer variable always incremented by the size of the data type that it points to. So p is pointing to integer, right? So this p plus plus will be incremented by 4. Okay, so after one increment, right, if you print the value of this pointer variable, right, then it would be 6356716, right? It is incremented by 4. Okay, now if you access the value through this p variable, right, star p, so now it will print the next value of the array. This is 12, right? Because initially p was pointing to the first element, but after incrementing it by 1, it will point to the next element of the array. Okay, and same way if you want to access the same value using the simple a of 1, then also it will give you the 12. Okay, so there are different ways to access the array elements. Okay, but here this statement, we have incremented p, right? But when you are printing the value of star a, right? So as we had discussed that a always contains the address of the first element. It is a constant pointer. Okay, so star a will always give you the value of the first element 11. You cannot perform a plus plus or any kind of statement that change the value of a. Okay. Okay, so now we'll see that how we can access the individual elements of the array using the pointers. Okay, so same example has been taken here. We have to take one array of 5 size. Then we have initialized certain values to the array elements, right? Then one pointer has been declared, right? And then after we are assigning the address of the first element of the array to the pointer variable, right? So now we can say that p is pointing to the array a, right? Now, when we want to print the values of the array elements, generally we are using this format, right? We can write here percentage %d, and at the place of this percentage %d, we have to print the value of a of I, right? For that, the value of I would be from 0 to 4. These values will be the indices of the array elements. Okay, so when you are printing the array elements using this for loop, you can have this kind of output. A of 0, that would be 11, then 12, right? And before printing the actual value, we are just printing message here that value of a percentage d. So at the place of percentage d, we have to print the value of I. So value of a of 0 for the first iteration is 11. Then in the next iteration, I is equal to 1. So value of a of 1 would be 12 like this. Okay. So this is the method that we were using to print the array elements, right? Now, how we can use the pointers to access these elements, right? So we know that the address of the first element is stored in this p variable. So p is pointing to right now the first element of the array a of 0, right? So in the p there is an address of the a of 0. Okay, so when we are writing star p, right, so we get the value 11, the value of the first element. Okay, so here we have used the same for loop and we are printing the value of the array elements using the pointer variable p. So for this 5 iterations, you can see here the output is only 11. Okay, because in the p there is an address of the first element, right? So p is containing the address of a of 0. We have not updated the value of p, right, in the iterations. So it will always give you the value of the a of 0 only. Okay. So when I is equal to 0 and you are printing the value which is pointed by the p, right, that means a of 0, right? So after printing that, the p should point to the next address, right? So that we can get the next value of the array. Okay, so this is the program for that. What we need to do actually here, for the first iteration, value of I will be printed here, right? So value of a of 0, this would be the output. Okay, now after printing the value of a of 0, 11, in the next iteration, what we need to do, we have to execute the statement p plus plus, right? So p is a pointer variable and we are incrementing it by 1. So it will be incremented based on the size of the type of the array. Okay, so the type of the array is integer. So when you are writing p plus plus, it will be incremented by 4 and now it will point to the next element of the array. Okay, so the next time when I is equal to 1 and this statement would be executed, so the value of I would be 1, a of 1, right? And the star p will print the next value of the array, right? Because before performing the next iteration, we have incremented the value of pointer variable p. Okay, so using this kind of for loop, you can access the value of the array. Now, here is some information to access the array elements, right? When you are writing p plus I, right, where p is the pointer and it is pointing to some array, suppose, right? So when you are writing p plus I, so this particular format will give the address of a of I, right? So that means this p plus I is equivalent to address of a of I. Okay, this will give you the address. Like if you're writing p plus 0, right, that is equivalent to p, right, because p is pointing to the first element of the array initially, right? So it will give you the address of the a of 0. Now when you are writing p plus 1, okay, so actually you are not updating the value of p here, right, but simply you are writing p plus 1. So this equation or this statement will give you the address of a of 1. Okay, when you write p plus 2, it will give you the address of a of 2, right? So in this way, you can access the addresses of the array elements, right? Now, addresses can be we can get using this p plus I, but when you are using indirection operator with this equation, it will give you the value of a of I. Okay, so star p plus I will give you the value of the array element ai. Okay, so when you are writing star p0, that means you are trying to access the value of the first element of the array. So that will be 11, right? So star p or star p plus 0 will give you the value of the first element. Okay, when you are writing star p plus 1, it will give you the value of a of 1, that is 12. Okay, so like this. So remember this. P plus I will give you the address of A of I, right? And P plus I with the indirection operator or dereferencing operator, it will give you the value of A of I. Okay. Now we'll see the same program, right? But here we'll print the array elements using this equation. Okay, this is the one way of printing the array elements that we all know, right? So this would be the output, right? But when you want to print the array element using pointers, so you can do what? You can write here star p plus I, right? Where the value of I would be from 0 to 4. So when I is equal to 0, p plus 0, that means you are printing the first element of the array a of 0. Okay, when I is equal to 1, right, then this equation is star p plus 1. That means you want the value of a of 1 because p is pointing to array a. Okay, so when you are printing the array elements using this format, the value of a of 1 would be 12. This output would be printed. Okay, so this is how you can uh, print the array elements also. Okay, so there are three ways we have learned. First is the traditional way that we are using to print the array elements, this one. Okay, another way is to just print the value of the address pointed by p, right? And after printing the value, you can increment the pointer variable, right? But this statement will change the value of pointer variable because this is equivalent to p plus 1. Okay, so p will be changed, right? And the third technique is this one, right, where you have to write star p plus I, and we have not used any assignment operator, right? So that the value of p will not be changed, right? You are just simply using the pointer variable to print the array element values. Okay. Okay, now suppose we want to find the address of a particular element in a one-dimensional array, right? We know that whenever the array has been declared, right, base address will be allocated and the contiguous memory allocation would happen for all the elements of the array. Okay, so if we know the base address and the type of the array, then we can easily calculate the address of any element. Okay, so here the example is given 5 size of array integer type is taken and these are the values, right? So these are the element names A0 to A4. These are the values, okay, and these are the addresses, okay. So obviously here 6356712, this is the base address because from this location memory has been allocated to the array. Okay, now here one pointer variable has been declared of integer. That means ki p is having the address of some integer variable. Okay, and star p is equal to a. Here this star p is for the declaration, remember this. Okay, so in star p is equal to a, that means ki you are making the pointer p to point to the array a. Okay, so p is itself a variable, so memory will be allocated for that also, right? So the address of the p is this 6356732 and the value of this p is the address of a of 0, right? So that is 6356712. Okay, now here base address is this 6356712, address of a of 0, right? And it should be known, right, to calculate the other elements addresses. Okay, now suppose we want to find out the address of this particular element, right? So what we need to do for that, first we need to take the base address, right? That from this address the array memory allocation has been started, right? Then after you have to write the index of the element uh, of which you want to find the address, right? So 3 into, now here we have to specify that each array element is taking how many bytes. Okay, so for that the scale factor is required, right? For this machine in which this calculation has been done, right, this machine is taking 4 bytes for the integer. right? So here the base address is this 6356712 plus 3 is the index of the element and 4 is the scale factor of integer. Okay, so when we simplify this equation, then it would be 6356724, right? So here you can see that the address of this A of 3 is 6356724. Okay, so if we generalize this equation from this example, so address of array element A of I is base address plus the index, so I, into scale factor of the data type of an array, right? If the integer is taking 2 byte, you can write here 2. If the data type of the array is float, then you can write here 4. And if it is integer, character, then you can write here 1. Okay. Now we'll see one example using the pointers and array. The aim of this program is to search whether a roll number is enrolled for the AWS Academy or not, right? So in the university, there are different academies going on, and the interested student can register in that academy. So as a input, we have the list of roll numbers of those students who are enrolled for this AWS Academy, right? And also we have to enter the roll number that we want to search from that list, right? Now in which kind of the which kind of output is required. So here we will print the message if roll number is not in the list, right? So we can print any appropriate message that this particular roll number has not been registered for this academy or anything, right? Or if the roll number is in the list, right, then we have to return the memory location and index of the roll number in an array, right, if the roll number is in the list. So now we'll see the implementation of this program. Okay, so here one array has been taken to store the roll numbers, right? So AWS array has been taken of 20 size. So here 20 indicates what? That maximum 20 students can enroll for this academy. Okay, then after this p pointer variable has been taken, and then after we have initialized it, p is equal to AWS, right? So AWS of 0, so that address is stored in this p variable. Now here we have declare the size 20, but you might or any user may want this program to execute for some lesser number of input, like 5 input or 6 input, right? So that particular value can be entered at runtime using this scanf statement. Okay, so here the message is printed, enter the number of elements that you want. Okay, and then you can use this scanf function and enter the size of the element. Okay, now we have the declarations, right? We know that what we have to do in this program, right? So we have declared the array and we have declared the pointer in which we can store all the information, but what are the actual data? So what is the actual input? So for that we have to take the values in this AWS array. Okay, so for taking the input values from the user, we have to use the scanf function. Okay, and as we had discussed in the previous slides, that if we write p plus I, that means we can access the A of I. Okay, but here our array name is AWS, so we can see here p plus I will give you the address of AWS I. Okay, and we have not one element to enter, we have to enter the elements right, according to the value of this size, right? So here the for loop has been taken, I is equal to 0, I less than size, and the scanf statement will be executed up to the number stored in the size. Okay, and before scanning the value, we have to print the message that enter the value of element %t. Okay, so this particular for loop is used to print the to enter the value at runtime from the user, and those value will be stored in the AWS array but using the pointer. We have not used array name here, we have used the pointer. Okay, so our one input is ready by the if we execute this for loop, then we will have a list of the numbers which are enrolled for the AWS Academy. Okay. Now the next input is what? We have to enter the roll number that we want to search from this list. Okay. So here this scanf is used to enter the roll number that we want to search. Okay. And now this is the for loop for input the values. This particular for loop is for input the roll number, and now this for loop is used to print the array element. That means this for loop will print all the roll numbers which are enrolled for the AWS Academy. Okay, so same for loop is required. I is equal to 0, I less than size, right? But when we want to print the value of the array, we have to use this format star p plus I. That is already discussed in the slides, previous slides, that p plus I will give you the address and star p plus I will give you the value. Okay. And after that, see here what we had done in the previous implementation. We have taken the input values, right, and we have printed the list as it is. Okay, but now we have to write the searching logic, that how we actually perform the searching operation, whether a particular roll number is in the list or not. Okay, so suppose we have these values 12, 23, 26. These are the roll numbers that are enrolled for the AWS Academy, right? Now this elements addresses are 200, 204 if integer is taking 4 bytes, right? So AWS of 0 is stored in 200 location, then AWS 1 will stored in 204 location, like this. Okay, so these are the element values, these are the element names, and these are the element addresses. All right, now when we are writing p is equal to AWS, right, where p is a pointer variable, so that means p has been allocated the address of the first element of the array. So p is equal to 200, right? Now using the p, if I write simple p, then obviously it will give you the address 200, right? But when you write star p, it will give you the value of the value at the address 200, right? So it will give you 12. Okay, so this is how you can access the first element. But when you want to access the next element of the array, you have to increment the pointer by 1. Okay, or you have to write p plus 1 if you want to access AWS 1 element. So these things we have discussed. So this p plus 1 star, this will give you AWS 1. Okay, now when we want to apply the searching logic, so what we need to do, we have one roll number, right, and we need to check whether that roll number is there in the list or not. Okay, so we have to take the first value 12 and we have to compare it with the roll number, right? So the value of the roll number variable and this array element, if they are same, right, then we can say that the particular roll number is in the list, right? And such that we have to compare this roll number value with the first element, second element, third element, like this. Okay, and whenever we found a match, right, we can print that the required element is in the list, right? Otherwise it is not in the list. Okay, so here we need to compare to all the elements of the array, right? So here we need to take a for loop. I is equal to 0, I less than size. Okay, now we need to compare the values. So this value and the value stored in the roll number variable. Okay, so roll numbers variable can simply be derived using the variable name roll number, but here array elements can be accessed using this star p plus I. Okay, so when I is equal to 0, p plus 0 means it will give you the first value 12. Okay, when I is equal to 1, then the equation would be like p plus 1 star. That means it will give you the value of AWS 1, that means 23. Okay, so we have to compare, or we have to write this if condition in the for loop. Okay, now what if we found the match? Okay, at any point of in any iteration, if we found this match, if this condition is true, right, that means we have found the element. So we can write the message like %d. So at this place we'll print the roll number. That this roll number is found at index %d. So obviously, whenever this condition is true, the value of I at that time would be the index of that element. So at this %d, we have to print the value of I. Okay. And the address at which the value is found, right? So that is stored in this p plus I, right? So we can print that address here. So this message would be printed if the element is found, right? Now suppose at the at the second index we have found the element. Suppose roll number value is 26 and we have found the element, right? So there is no need to check in the remaining part of the list. Okay, so for that, what has been done here, there is one value, variable f, right? In the main, it is initialized with 0. Okay, now if we found the match, then what we'll do, we'll just change the value of f to 1 and we'll use the break statement. So break statement will make the will complete the will just break the iterations. Now the remaining for loop iteration would not happen, right? It will come out of the for loop. Okay. So after executing the break, this for loop will be terminated. Okay. So once we found a match, we have to change the value of f variable and we have to break from the loop. Okay. Now if after the for loop, if the value is 0, value of f is 0 only, right? That means that it never changes to 1. And when it doesn't change to 1, when there is no match. After the completion of all the iterations, if the value of f is not changing, that means we have not found the match. Okay, so if the value of f is 0 only after completion of this for loop, that means a particular element that is stored in this roll number is not found in the list. Okay. Okay, so this is the complete program, right? The array declaration, pointer declaration, and the f variable, which is initialized to 0. Then after pointer initialization with the address of the first element of the array. Okay, this input is for the, this for loop is for the input. Then here we have to enter the roll number. This for loop is for printing all the array elements, right? So here you can see that first we have to enter the size, right, based on this statement, right? Then we have to enter the numbers, the roll numbers which are enrolled for the AWS Academy. Okay, so for this, based on this for loop, this will be the impact in the output. Then after you have to enter the roll number, so enter roll number, so that is 65, we have entered. Okay, and this particular for loop is for printing the elements. So here you can see that all the elements are printed in a particular format, element %d, and then we have used the pointer to print the array elements. Okay, now this is the searching logic that we had discussed, right? Now after this, here we can see the input is 45, 12, 13, 65, 47, right? And the number that we want to search is 65. So when I execute this program for this input, right, the output would be what? That 65 is found at index 3. Here you can see, right? And the address is 635656. Okay, so this is the address which is allocated for the element 3. Okay, so this is the program. Now in the next, the program is same, right? But here we have given the input as the number that we want to search is 70. Okay, so obviously 70 is not in the list. So the output would be what? That 70 is not found in the list. So this particular statement will be printed. Okay, because when you want to search for the 70, right, this if condition will never be true, f will never have the value 1, so f will remain 0, and so that this particular message will be printed, right? So this is how you can access the array elements using the pointer variables. Thank you.
Is there any doubt till now? See, now we having two options. Like आप लोग बताओ आपको क्या कंटिन्यू करना है? You want to continue with the lecture or you want to do one practical task? What majority say? So as per the screen आपके पॉइंटर के लिए दो टॉपिक है कंटिन्यूशन में और प्रैक्टिकल के लिए तीन प्रैक्टिकल्स है. So now what you guys say? You want to continue with the lecture or you want to continue your new practical task? Anyone please answer.
प्रैक्टिकल
प्रैक्टिकल करना है ना, ठीक है, तो मैं प्रैक्टिकल 11.1 अभी यहाँ पे स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ, ठीक है. कैन आई कंटिन्यू?
यस मैम.
ओके.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello students, in this lab we are going to discuss 11.1 program of your practical list. That is, it is based on pointers. So the definition of the program goes like this. Uh, write a program to read the marks of 10 students for the subject C141 Computer Concepts and Programming and compute the number of students in categories fail, pass, first class and distinction using pointers and arrays. Right, so we are given marks, like let's say we are given a marks of 10 students, we are going to save it in an array, right? And if follow these are the marks which are being entered, right? And based on this input we need to find out okay, how many students are coming in the range greater than or equal to 70. So if it is greater than or equal to 70, then will be having distinction. If it is in between 69 to 60, then it is first class. So you can see here there are 4 students who are having who are having marks greater than 70. So it is, let's say 78, 98. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? Then first class, so first class the range is in between 69 to 60. So in between 69 to 60, it is 67. So this is only the one value in the range, right? Then 59 to 40. So here, which are the numbers which are falling under this range? So let's see, it's 1, right? Then only one student is present, as you can see, and below 40. So below 40, there are 4 students. So let's check it out. 1, right? And then 2, 3, right? So this 34, this 34, 12, 31, and 23. So these 4 are coming under the category fail. So we need to calculate all these things using pointers and arrays, right? So let's get started. Right, so here in this program, this is one variable name which I declared by default by mistake, which was sum equal to 0. So I have added this this red line over it, right? So sum equal to 0 was that variable was taken by mistake by me, right? So here we are having integer x of 10. So let's say we are having one array of x of 10 in which we are going to store the various values, right? So initially when we are declaring this array x of 10, what will be the value inside it? The value inside it will be garbage, right? And the memory allocation of the array x would look like this. It will be x of 0, x of 1, x of 2, x of 3, x of 4 up to x of 9. The values we are assuming here that this program is being run in code blocks. So x of 0 will be having 2000 address, x of 1 will be having 2004 address, because x of 0 will be occupying 4 bytes of memory, right? Here x of 0 will be having 4 bytes of memory, right? 4 bytes of memory will be stored for x of 0 because integer occupies 4 bytes and we are assuming that we are running this program in code block, right? So x of 0 will have how many addresses? It will have 2000, 2001, 2002 and 2003. These are the 4 addresses which will be present for x of 0, right? X of 0 will have address 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, because integer occupies 4 bytes and each byte is having a memory address. Each byte, in remember, in computer memory, each byte is having a each byte is having the address. So it is to here it is occupying 4 bytes. So first byte will be having address 2000, second byte will be having 2001, third byte will be 2002, and fourth byte will be 2003, right? Then x of 1 will have how many bytes? Again, it will have 4 bytes. So again, it will have the address 2004, 2005, 2006, and 2007, right? So these are the 4 addresses of x of 1. So x of 1 occupies total 4 bytes, and these are the various byte address of x of 1. But when we refer to x of 1, only the first address is returned, right? When we refer to x of 0, only the first address, that is 2000, is written. And that's why we are writing only the first address, that is the first address of that particular integer value, right? So whenever we are referring to x of 4's address, only 2016 will be returned. So 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019, out of all these 4 addresses, only 2016 will be returned. Okay. So initially, when you are declaring an array of x, then you know that because we have not initialized any values, so initially all the values will be garbage value, right? Initially, all the values will be garbage value, right? Now, we have declared one more variable, which is star of p, right? So we are initially declaring one pointer. We are initially declaring one pointer, and that pointer is also right now pointing to some unknown location. Right now, that pointer is pointing to some unknown location because we have still not initialized the pointer variable. And as you are aware, pointer stores the address of another variable. Pointer will always store the address of another variable, right? And pointer itself, because pointer itself is a variable, it also has its own address. So here you can see, let's assume that P is having the address 3000, right? Because pointer here is a variable, and because pointer itself is having some address, right? That's why we are assuming that, let's assume that pointer is a variable, right? You know that the data type of pointer is always unsigned integer, right? Unsigned integer means what? Unsigned integer means what? The address of the memory cannot be negative. So it will be always positive. The address of any pointer variable will always be positive, and it will be unsigned integer. And the size of pointer variable will always be 4 bytes if you're running in code block, and it will be always it will always occupy 2 bytes if you're running in Turbo C, right? Because the data type of pointer is always unsigned integer, irrespective of whether it is a float pointer, whether it is an integer pointer, whether it is a character pointer, whether it is a uh, uh, double pointer, and so on. Character pointer matlab it is pointing to a character data type, right? It doesn't mean that pointer itself has that data type. Character pointer का मतलब क्या? That pointer can point only to other character data type. मतलब it can store the address of only other character variables. It doesn't mean that pointer itself is of type character, right? Similarly, float pointer means what? कि float pointer will point to the address of only floating point variables. It doesn't mean that that pointer itself is a float. So pointers, the basic data type of any pointer is always unsigned integer, right? And because why it is unsigned integers? Because addresses cannot be negative. It will be always positive, right? Now, here we have taken in integer distinction, first class, pass, and fail equal to 0. So we have taken 4 counter variables, right? So first counter variable dis will count the number of distinction. The second counter variable fc will count the number of first class. The third pointer pass will count the number of pass class, and the fourth will count the number of failed students, right? So we have initialized initially all the counter variables. Right now, printf enter marks of 10 students. Right. So now we are saying that enter the marks of 10 students, and now we are assigning the value of x to p. That means what? We are initializing this pointer variable by x. Now, as you are aware that the value of x will always contain the base address. The value of x will always contain the base address of the any element, right? So name of the array always contains the base address that we have already seen, right? So name of the array always contains the base address. So what is the name of the array here? The name of the array is x. And what is the base address of this array? The base address of this array is 2000. So x would be equal to 2000. So we cannot assign 2000 to x, right? I'm just saying that the value of x is what? It is 2000. We cannot assign the value of 2000 to x because x is a constant pointer. The name of the array is the constant pointer, and the name of the array will always store the base address, right? So if I'm writing x equal to the value of x here will be what? It will be 2000, right? The value of x will be what? It will be 2000. Now, when I'm writing here, when I want to allocate the pointer variable to x, then when I'm writing here, p is equal to x. That means what? Now the p value is initialized, and now the p value is having the address 2000, right? This p value is having the address 2000, right here. If you're not able to see, I'll see this p value is now having the address 2000. So I can either write down p is equal to x, or I can write down p is equal to address of x of 0. Both this statement exactly mean the same thing, right? I can either write down p is equal to x, or I can write down p is equal to address of x of 0, right? So this both are the same thing. That means what? We are storing the base address in the pointer variable p, right? So now p is pointing to this first location. Right now p is pointing to this first location, and that first location is having some garbage value. Okay. Now here for I equal to 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus. Now we want to enter the elements inside the array using the pointer variable, right? So we are writing enter x of 0, let's assume, right? So we are writing here printf x of 0. So x of 0 will be printed. Then scanf, we are writing here percentage d and p, right? हम लोग generally क्या लिखते थे? We were writing statements like this. If you remember, when you are taking input of an array, we were writing statement like this: scanf percentage d, and we were writing address of x of 0. We were writing statements like this: address of x of 0, right? But instead of address of x of 0, or let's say we were writing address of x of I, address of x of I, ऐसा हम लिखते थे पहले, right? If you remember, right? लेकिन अब हमें क्या करना है कि p का ऑलरेडी जो एड्रेस है x of 0 का, ऑलरेडी जो एड्रेस है वो ऑलरेडी हमने कहाँ स्टोर किया है? पॉइंटर वेरिएबल में. So instead of writing address of x of I can just write down here p. So p is storing what? P is storing the address of x of 0 right now. Initially p is storing the address which is 2000, and that value is there inside p, right? And p is pointing to right now x of 0, right? So that means what? Ki the first value which will be entered by this scanf statement will be entered in x of 0 because p is pointing to x of 0. So first scanf statement से मैं जो भी value enter करूंगी, that value will be stored here. Let's assume I am entering the value as uh, 34. Right? So here the first value is 34. So let's assume I'm entering that value. Okay, okay, clear with this, right? So this is the first loop. Now what I'll do p plus plus. अब p plus plus करेंगे जब हम, राइट, इनिशियली अभी p की वैल्यू क्या है 2000 है, ठीक है। अब मैं लिखती हूँ p plus plus, so what will happen, will the address of p will be 2001? No, it will not be 2001. Why? First the compiler will check what is the address of this what is this pointer type, right? So pointer is this is an integer pointer, right? So whenever I do p plus plus, or if I write down p equal to p plus 1, right, भले मैंने plus 1 लिखा है फिर भी 2001 नहीं आएगा फाइनल आंसर, the answer will be 2004. That means the अगर मैं यहाँ पर +1 कर रही हूँ और because p is an integer pointer and integer is occupying 4 bytes, so that 4 byte, that scale factor of 4 byte will also be added inside the pointer. That scale factor of 4 bytes for integer data type will also be added, and the address will be what, p is equal to 2004. p is equal to 2004. तो जब मैं p plus plus लिखूंगी या तो मैं ऐसा लिखूंगी p is equal to p plus 1, तो answer of this p value will change to 2004, right? From 2000 it will change to 2004, because why it will be changed to 2004 and not 2001? Because 2004 because p is an integer pointer, and integer always occupies 4 bytes, and whenever you are incrementing the value of a pointer, its scale factor of that integer value will also be added, right? So so it will be p is equal to 2004. सपोज यहाँ पर कैरेक्टर डेटा टाइप होता, अगर ये कैर डेटा टाइप होता और मैं p प्लस प्लस करती, तो एड्रेस नेक्स्ट क्या होता 2001, बिकॉज ईच कैरेक्टर ऑक्यूपाइज 1 बाइट. अगर यहाँ पर लेट्स अज्यूम डबल डेटा टाइप होता, राइट, एंड लेट्स अज्यूम डबल ऑक्यूपाइज 8 बाइट्स ऑफ मेमोरी, और मैं यहाँ पर p प्लस प्लस करती, तो नेक्स्ट एड्रेस क्या होता 2008, right? So it depends upon the type of value which this pointer is pointing to, right? So when I do p plus plus, now p will be automatically pointing to 2004 memory address, right? So अब मैं वापस ये लूप में जाऊंगी, अब क्या आएगा, enter x of 1, right? I value will be incremented, I value will be 1, and now enter x of 1. So x of 1 में वैल्यू जो भी मैं एंटर करूंगी यहाँ पर 34 के बाद क्या है 56. So 56 value will be entered in place of this garbage value. 56 value will be entered, right? Similarly, this loop will continue and we can enter the marks 78, 98 and so on. So it will keep on updating. So here it will be 78, here it will be 98 and so on. So all the garbage values will be replaced by the actual values here, right? So all the garbage values here will be replaced by this garbage value, by this actual value using this for loop, right? So it is 34, 56, 78, 98, 12, 31. So the next value will be 12, then then it will be 31, right? 12, 31, then 67, 75, right? So it will be 67, then 75, right? Then 91, 23. So it will be 91 and 23. So all these values will be added inside this array using using this for loop, right? Using this for loop, all the values will be added, right? Now in the next loop, what we are doing, we are again initializing the value of p to x. So at the end of this loop, what will be happening? What will be the address of p? ठीक है, पहले p की एड्रेस क्या था 2000 से चेंज होके वो क्या हो गया 2004, फिर क्या हुआ 2008, फिर क्या हुआ 2012. सो एवरी टाइम दिस p वैल्यू इज आल्सो गेटिंग अपडेटेड. सो पहले 2000 था, फिर क्या हुआ 2004, फिर क्या हुआ 2008, फिर क्या हुआ 2012, राइट? सो ऑल दिस वैल्यूज आर गेटिंग अपडेटेड, राइट? सो लास्ट वैल्यू जब हम 23 एंटर करेंगे, so the next address will be what? It will be 2004, 40, right? So next address will be what? 2040, because मैं p plus plus करूंगी, so p में 40 4 bytes और add हो जाएंगे, so it will be 2040. so अब 2040 से अब मैं यहाँ पर क्या लिख रही हूँ, for, तो ये जब लूप एंड हुआ तब p की वैल्यू क्या होगी, p की वैल्यू होगी 2040. अब मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, फॉर p इज इक्वल टू एक्स, तो अब मैं वापस p की वैल्यू को x में असाइन कर रही हूँ. x की वैल्यू क्या थी, 2000. x इज व्हाट, इट इज द नेम ऑफ द एरे व्हिच स्टोर्स द बेस एड्रेस. तो अब p की वैल्यू वापस क्या हो गई, वापस p की वैल्यू चेंज हो गई एंड इट इज नाउ 2000. Now again the value of p is what, it is 2000. Okay, now uh, now we are writing p is less than or equal to less than address of x of 10, right? So address of x of 10 क्या है, less than, यहाँ पर हमने क्या लिखा है, less than. So x of 9 तक वैल्यू होगी, वो क्या होगी, 2036, right? So actually 2036 will be having 4 addresses, 2036, right? 2037, 2038 and 2039. ठीक है, तो जो x of 9 की वैल्यू होगी वो 4 एड्रेसेस होंगे, 2036, 2037, 2038 और 2039. फिर x of 10 की वैल्यू क्या होगी, 2040. तो 2040 तक, मतलब लेस देन 2040, right? So we are just writing x of 10, right? So p is less than or equal less than 2040. वहां तक हमें करना है, तो वो लास्ट वैल्यू का जब 2036 होगा तभी वो लूप टर्मिनेट हो जाएगा, राइट? नाउ इफ स्टार ऑफ p, तो p में वैल्यू क्या है, 2000. 2000 का स्टार वैल्यू क्या होगा, 2000 का स्टार वैल्यू, स्टार इज व्हाट, इट इज एन इनडायरेक्शन ऑपरेटर. सो 2000 एड्रेस में अभी वैल्यू क्या स्टोर है, 34 वैल्यू स्टोर है, right? So 34. So is 34 greater than or equal to 70? No. So it will go to else if statement. Now it will check for this. So is 34 less than or equal to 69 and then 34 greater than or equal to 60? No. So it will go in this else if statement. Is 34 less than or equal to 59 and then 34 greater than or equal to 40? No. So it will go in this statement, and now it will increment the value of fail, which was initially 0, but now the value of fail will be what? It will be 1, right? So fail plus plus hoga. So it will go in this statement. Now again the value p plus plus. So p plus plus will now point to what? It will point to 2004. What is the next value? It is 56. So if star of p, so it is 56. Is 56 greater than or equal to 70? No, right? So it will go in this. Is 56 falling in this range? No, it will go in this. Now here what will happen? The past value will be updated and it will be now 1. Right? So in that way, this loop will continue and it will increment the various pointers, the various this counters, and then at the end we can print that the number of students with distinction is equal to percentage d, number of students with first class is this, number of students passed is this, and number of students failed is this, and so on, right? So here assume that I have not entered the exact amount which is given in the definition. So let's assume I have entered 45, 89, 65, 90, 12, 76, 40, 62, 74 and 97. Right? So the number of students with distinction is 5. Right? So greater than 70, you can check it is this 1, right? Then 2, then 3 and 4 and 5. So this 5 are, for this 5 we are getting this counter. Number of students with first class, so it is 60s range. So 60s range kya hai, 65 and this 62. So these are the two values, right? And similarly number of students passed. So passed ke liye kya hai, 50 or 40 ki range hai. So it is this 45 and this 40 range, right? So this is passed. So 40 and 45 are in the passed range, right? And failed student kya hai? Failed student kaun sa bacha? abhi ye. So then the student which is failing, right? The student which is failing is 12, so it is 1. So this output is getting perfectly fine. So I hope you have understood this video, understood this program. Thank you so much for watching this video.
Okay, everyone is clear with the logic?